Good morning, everyone. Start to another week, and we're starting the week off watching some pivots. So we finished up seeding on Saturday, but we're still irrigating, trying to get a little bit of some sub moisture for over the winter here. We'll see how many more weeks we run this thing. It's actually supposed to be kind of hot and dry this October. So the boss is actually gone for a couple days this week on another little short vacation. Do have a couple things to work on. Got some flat tires on some stuff. Gonna try to get those patched and find some other things to do around the yard here. Only thing I really got told to do was watch pivots, so I gotta kind of figure out my own jobs. So it's a couple slower days to start the week off, which is kind of nice, but we are still watching pivots, and we actually do need to bring some fuel down to the river there. So we got about 200 gallons here. We're gonna run down. And we are down at the river. I'm just kind of walking along the bank here. It takes a little while for the fuel pickup to empty out the tank, but it's definitely not going to be enough to fill the fuel tank down there. But we do leave the engine running while we're fueling it up and stuff. But it takes a little while, so it's always nice just kind of walk along here. And the river's actually really low right now, so we can see really well in there. I was trying to see if I could see any fish out there. Should have brought my fishing pole actually, but man, it's just a beautiful day down on the river here. Just gorgeous out here. Love seeing it. Love these nice, beautiful days. It's always really cool just walking along here. Got all sorts of different plants and stuff down here at the river too, and then all this sandstone as well. Kind of erodes differently, just different parts of it too. It's always fun just kind of walking along here and looking at everything, and I always enjoy walking along some of those bigger ones way up there. We are just in the backhoe here, getting ready to kind of leave the yard here. And we're actually going to be heading down to the river bottom. We're going to pull the screens out for the irrigation system. We're going to be done irrigating for the year now. And down we go into the river bottom here. Not too bad, just don't drive off the side. We're actually still waiting on the boss. He's going to be bringing the pickup and the trailer down. Other stuff. We're not actually going to be using the backhoe to take those screens out. It's actually for another job we're going to have coming up. I kind of forgot how quiet it is down here without this big engine running. Not just screaming away. It's pretty peaceful actually. But so like I was saying, we're going to be pulling these screens out of the river down there. You can see them pretty well again here today. Actually, it's going to be pretty nice pulling them out. It's supposed to be about 91 this afternoon. And the river's pretty low and it's moving pretty slowly, so it makes it an easy job. We've had it some years where the river's been really high and it's freezing cold, so that just makes it extremely hard pulling those screens out of there. But the reason we took the backhoe down here was actually because we got some stuff we're going to be working on this fall. We're going to be pulling our clutch off here. Big old clutch, we're gonna have it rebuilt. Got to take it down to a big city there. And then we've also got to pull off our big old radiator here too. And it's got a leak somewhere in the bottom of it. So it's not actually in this part, unless it's right in the very bottom there. But somewhere it's leaking, so we're gonna pull that out, get that fixed too, and see what other things we need to fix on this thing. So we got the screens home, and we're just gonna pull them off here with this little tractor. We're actually gonna take them over to this other side of the shop here. Just over here. We're gonna set them all down on the gravel there. Just gonna pressure wash them all off, get all the algae and all kinds of other gunk that's on them cleaned off of there. That way they're ready to go for next spring. You can see some of that stuff that gets stuck on there. Some of it doesn't come off very nice either. Good way to start the day. We're gonna be doing a little oil change on the boss's pickup. He's actually getting ready to go spray some weeds down at the pivot there. But yeah, just kind of some more odd jobs this week, getting some different things finished. Actually, boss is gonna be heading out next week for a little vacation for, well, I think 2 weeks or something. So be good for him, and I get to kind of stay here and work on some other stuff. Well, maybe all we need to do is some oil changes and get ready to go spraying, and then it finally actually starts raining. It's actually coming down pretty good out here too. Man, it smells just amazing. I love that fresh rain smell. Not something we get a whole lot around here, so it's nice to have it. We got the oil changed on the boss's pickup. I figured I'd show you guys something kind of just different we do with new gas cans, and when we get them, we always like to make a little hole kind of in the end here. That way it just helps it flow a little bit faster, and it doesn't have any airlocks in it. So I kind of just used my Leatherman and cut a little hole the other day, but now I'm actually going to drill it out to the right size. I'll tap it, and then I'm just going to put a bolt in there as a plug. Just like that. Pretty quick, simple, easy little job. We just put our little bolt in there. That way we have a plug, and we just pull the bolt out when we want to dump things a little bit quicker here. Doesn't take a whole lot of tools, and probably only takes about 3 minutes to do it. So just kind of a quick little farm hack we do on some different stuff. All right, we are heading back down to the river. We got all sorts of stuff in the service pickup here, and the boss is going to actually meet us down there later. He's out spraying all that volunteer wheat that's kind of popping up on the pivot there right now. So just getting all that stuff fried, and then I think we're probably going to end up working this stuff too. I don't know if we'll work it now or after winter. But yeah, just a couple different little operations, and we'll talk about what we're doing down at the river when we get down there. And we are back down at the river here. So we got those screens pulled out yesterday. Actually, we can go look at them too. You guys can see what it looks like without them. We just put the little caps over where those screens plug in there. That way they don't get filled up with sand inside that culvert we got sitting out there during the winter. Actually had some issues with that before, and yeah, nothing like having a bunch of sand plugging that thing up, and then you can't suck any water out of the little well. But should all be good right now. Shouldn't be an issue. But today our project is we are going to start tearing apart some stuff on this thing. So I'm actually going to take this little cover off here. We got the drive line under there. Going to pull the drive line off, start tearing apart the clutch, start draining our radiator, taking everything off on that thing as well. And then hopefully the boss will be done spraying. Then he can help me and we can start kind of pulling all of this stuff out. So we got the big old drive shaft pulled out again for I don't know what time this year, but it's going to stay off for a little while this time. The only thing we have to do is get all these bolts pulled off the clutch here, hook a chain around it, and use the backhoe to pull it out. Right now, we're starting to drain the coolant out of here. It's going to take a little while. There's going to be quite a bit of coolant in here, I would guess. Take some pictures, make sure we get all this stuff unhooked correctly. It's pretty simple, but it's always nice just take some pictures just in case. So still tearing away at this project here. We got all sorts of stuff out of the 1 ton here. This thing is almost done draining. I think it's at least over 15 gallons. We're probably about 17 gallons right now or so. But we have to keep an eye on this storm. Hopefully we get a bunch of rain. But the only problem being down here, if it rains, you can't actually get back up the hill over there. It becomes a little too slimy. You have no traction, especially with this pickup that's just 2-wheel drive. I would definitely be stuck down here, so it doesn't take a whole lot for that hill to get slick. That's the boss has been stuck down here for a few hours before his 4-wheel drive pickup. So yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on this, and if it does start raining, I'm gonna have to get out of here very quickly. Well, I think we got out of the river just about in time. It looks like it's about to dump. Hopefully we get a whole bunch of rain. Might just end up being a lot of wind, which we're getting right now. Well, we made it back to the yard. Getting a little tiny bit of rain. Not a whole lot right now, but I'm just walking around, kind of going to shut all the buildings and stuff. I'm gonna get the Quonset shut over here and see what else we gotta put away in case we do get a bunch of rain. Well, talk about a wonderful thing to wake up to this morning. We got a little bit of rain last night. Hopefully it's enough to get our winter wheat to start and actually pop out of the ground. Definitely gonna need a little more, but man, it's beautiful just to see some puddles again in the yard here. We do have some shop work to get done, so I'm gonna open up the shed and grab our next project here. All right, so we're in the service pickup here again. We're gonna start it up and see if it was doing what it was doing yesterday. Okay, so it's actually not doing it right now. But yesterday when we were getting ready to leave the river bottom, we had some squealing going on from the engine bay, so I'm gonna run it in the shop. We're gonna check some belts and bearings on the front of the engine here. So when the service truck was making a little chirping yesterday, I figured it was probably something in the belts and pulleys on the front of the engine here. But I'm gonna kind of point to what was making the noise here. So this is actually our tensioner, and something you can do with the Fords here, put my pencil away quick, so you can actually just grab the belt right here and just kind of pull it back. You can maybe see that tensioner down there kind of moving a little bit. And it's not moving super well. It's got a little bit of movement. So I'm thinking that tensioner probably needs replaced. It should work for right now. It's just going to make a little bit of noise. But that's going to be one of our winter projects there, to getting that guy replaced. Kind of a fun job. You got to pull the radiator shroud all off and stuff just to get tools in there. Kind of a tight, fun, interesting little area to work in. And we actually had it all tore apart last year too. So I'm going to be doing it again this winter, I guess.